competitive prices. Patrick James delivers impeccable looks that keep your wardrobe moving forward in a confident, modern direction. See for yourself online or come into our store on 780 West Shaw to find the style and brands you're looking for at Patrick James.
Introducing the Sidebar, a brand new open-air beer garden at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill in River Park. Experience a new way to catch a game, hang with friends, and enjoy new appetizers, char-grilled burgers, salads, wings with over 10 house-made sauces, and of course, world-famous Me and Ed's pizza. Thirsty? Try our self-poured taps with over a dozen craft beers, wines, ciders, and craft seltzers. Plus a full bar with an impressive selection of tequilas, whiskeys, and craft cocktails. The Sidebar at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill, now open in River Park.
Welcome to the Sunbirds Sports.
Hi, welcome to the Sunbirds Sports Show. This is 790 ESPN. I'm your host, Paul Meadors, across from Bullard High School here at the ESPN studios, also home to 1430 ESPN. Normally, we do the show every Wednesday from 6 to 7, and obviously, if you're listening right now live on 790, we are going from 5 to 6. A little bit early this week because we have some baseball to broadcast, some high school baseball that I'm going to be sharing with my buddy Phil Bonatti. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it for this early hour. Of course, you can listen back on Spotify or Apple or YouTube as well. We're being broadcast live on YouTube right now as we speak. And what we do every Wednesday is we shine a spotlight on all the great stuff that's happening over at Fresno Pacific University on Chestnut and Butler Avenue. I am a proud grad of the school, 1994, back when it was Fresno Pacific College, but love talking to the student athletes at Fresno Pacific University, the coaching staff, and tonight we have a special guest right now. We love talking to our alum of the school, those that attended Fresno Pacific or Fresno Pacific College. Today we're going to be joined by Erin Obwald. She's going to be on the show for the entire hour, talk about her time at FPU, her time starting the soccer program on the women's side. That's a great story. I heard a little bit off air. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Now she's back at the college, at the university, I should say, in an administrative role. She has a wonderful story that I can't wait for you guys to hear. She's a Fresno native, graduated from Hoover High School. She transferred as a junior. So got to say this, she's the founding president of the Sunbirds Soccer Club and worked alongside Jaime Ramirez, transitioning the club into an intercollegiate NAIA program. That's a great story. Excited, again, for you guys to hear the entire thing. Currently runs a local nonprofit in Fresno. We're going to be talking about that in segment number 2 with her husband, David. He's also a Fresno Pacific alum. They have 5 children, 2 adopted from China and residing in the Fresno area. And as is the case with a lot of Fresno Pacific University or college connections, I do have a connection with Erin that we found out earlier. We have some mutual friends, and that's definitely a theme with a lot of people associated with Fresno Pacific University. So excited to talk about that a little bit as well. If you're familiar with the show, we do a recap from sporting events in the past couple weeks, and I say a couple weeks because we did not have a show last week. So we got a lot of stuff to get into. Then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to hear from Erin. All right, let's start with men's and women's tennis, the latter of whom you heard from last episode. They defeated Westmont, as we aired 2 Wednesdays ago. Both squads won 5-2 over Menlo the next day. Freshman Jordi Gonzalez won both his doubles matches with teammate Emilio Seelbach, as well as his singles match, 6-1, 6-2, earning him the title of Raising Cane's Sunbird of the Week. The following Saturday, the women swept Cal State LA 7-0. Then on Thursday, Interlock defeated Stanislaus State 5-2, while the men defeated Westmont the day prior 4-3. Saturday, both squads defeated Jessup at home, with the women sweeping and the men winning 6-1. Women's water polo headed south for a road stand, falling to Biola and Concordia Irvine. But last Wednesday at home, the Ladybirds came out on top over UC Merced, 10-9 in overtime. Clovis High local Evelina Philippi tallied an incredible 19 saves, earning her WWPA Defensive Player of the Week. And, of course, Raising Cane's Sunbird of the Week honors. Also, the Buchanan sisters Cook earned all WWPA honors, Emma on the first team, and Maggie all defensive team, while Clovis local Dakota Lambert notched an honorable mention. Baseball finished up a home stretch of games in Honolulu, sweeping Chaminade 4-0 with an 11-0 final victory and a 15-8 win over Hawaii Pacific. Put the Birds over 500 on the trip. How about this? Gabe Henderson, having an incredible year for the baseball team, reached a milestone, 200 career hits. Track and field competed at the West Coast Relays before last weekend, which saw Sunbirds compete at a whopping 4 different track meets. Highlights from all those meets included a blazing 11.69 100-meter dash from sophomore Cyan Super Haslip, earning her Raising Cane's Sunbird of the Week from the week previous. A 70-meter-plus winning throw from freshman Teosh Popliknik at the Texas Relays, among many other marks, 2 school records. We normally give sophomore Clara Wagner an award for a school record of 4,729 points in the heptathlon over at Cal Berkeley, but she already got one, so leave it to the local Lemoore grad Shane Bagley, who set a new school record of 5.60 meters in the pole vault at the Stanford Invitational to earn not just Raising Cane's Sunbird of the Week, and how about this acronym? You guys ready for this? The USTFCCCA National Division II Athlete of the Week as well. The mark is tied for 5th all-time outdoors for Division II. Now, Stunt was down in Costa Mesa for the final regular season matches, securing a solid 22-17 win over the Division I UC Davis, but narrowly following 25-23 to West Conference foe Vanguard. However, the Ladybirds would soon avenge this defeat in the West Coast. The Western Conference Championships was also the lone home event of the season. Friday, after an initial loss to Concordia Irvine, the Ladybirds swept Hawaii Pacific. Saturday, the Ladybirds lost to eventual champions Jessup, but their final match of the day took down the Lions of Vanguard 31-20, placing them 3rd in the West Conference. All right, time for a break, and we're going to hear from Erin and her time at Fresno Pacific, starting the women's soccer program as well, and much, much more. You're listening to the Sunbird Sports Show on 790 ESPN.
Struggling to keep up? Low testosterone Health can help. Every day is game day. No days off. If your energy is low, your focus is slipping, and you're not feeling like yourself, low testosterone could be the reason. Testosterone fuels your strength, drive, and confidence. And when it's optimized, everything changes. Schedule your free testosterone assessment today at Game Day Men's Health. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Fresno or Visalia. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Fresno or Visalia.
We started like you, a small team with a big dream to serve the Valley. 20 years later, FFB Bank is still proudly backing businesses across California and beyond. We've learned a lot about what it takes to grow, and now we're using that experience to make things easier for you. With our Switch and Save.
Set the floor. Save up to 50% on clearance closeouts. Overstocks, and one-of-a-kind item stocks. Plus, special financing is available. It's the Reset the Floor sale happening now, only at Fashion Furniture. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Prices on steel and materials are going up, but at Pacific Steel Supply, they're still delivering the best deals in the industry. Whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, or ag projects, Pacific Steel Supply will match or beat any competitor's price by an extra 10% on top quality steel, metal roofing, and components. With 24/7 service, fast delivery, and the best prices, the time to act is now. Get your free quote today from Pacific Steel Supply in Fresno, Ashland, and Parkway off Highway 99 or online at PacificSteelSupply.com.
Great food brings people together, and Lynn's Restaurant Group brings a flavor. From office meetings to family celebrations, Lynn's Restaurant Group makes catering easy with full-service on-site cooking, professional buffet setups, or simple pickup options. Choose from 8 standout restaurants: Spicy J's, J-Pot, Oiza, Hino Oishi, Ramen Hayashi, Lynn's Fusion, Ichi Shabu, and JT, all in one place at lynsrestaurantgroup.com, or place your catering order fast on the Lynn's Restaurant Group app.
We started like you, a small team with a big dream to serve the Valley. 20 years later, FFB Bank is still proudly backing businesses across California and beyond. We've learned a lot about what it takes to grow, and now we're using that experience to make things easier for you. With our Switch and Save offer, we'll cover up to 90 days of payment processing, provide no-cost equipment, and offer competitive rates so your business can keep more of what it earns. And behind it all is a local team that truly understands your goals and is ready to help you reach them. Make the switch, save with FFB. Visit ffb.bank to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Play ball! Back the Birds, Fresno. Fresno Pacific University Sunbirds baseball is back in action at the Diamond at their brand new, fully seated, fully covered, state-of-the-art Dan Martin Stadium, the crown jewel of West Coast Division II baseball stadiums. All games are just $10 for fans 18 and older, 17 and under get in free. For schedule and ticket information, visit fpuathletics.com. Fresno Pacific University Sunbirds baseball is back in action at the Diamond. See you at the Dan.
Get your business noticed and stand out from the crowd by visiting Megaprints. Working with the Valley's most prestigious and high-profile businesses since 1998, we print and install custom-designed signs for businesses of all types and sizes. From yard signs to banners to wallpaper and fleet graphics, Megaprints has the state-of-the-art capability to turn the signage you've dreamed of into a reality. Visit megaprints.com today to see our work and what we can do for your business.
Now, welcome back to the Sunbird Sports Show with Paul Meadors on 790 ESPN.
All right, welcome back to this special edition of the Sunbird Sports Show. An hour early tonight. We have some high school baseball to broadcast later tonight. And I mentioned in my opener, we love to talk with alumni of Fresno Pacific University, and we have one tonight. Erin Obwald is with us, and like I mentioned too, there's a lot of connections, right? With Fresno Pacific University people, there's connections everywhere, but you have a great story to tell. We're going to get into a lot of stuff, currently what you're doing as well, but you helped start the women's soccer program at Fresno Pacific. Really quick, before we get into some fun stuff, was it a college back then, or is it?
No, it was a university.
It was a university. What's the year that it transferred?
Well, I was already university, so I didn't pay attention.
Okay, so I was class of 94, and it was college then, so
in between.
Maybe
and I started there in 98, so.
All right, so I got some research ahead of me. Before next show, I promise I'll figure out the exact date when they went to university status. All right, so Easter was this last Sunday, spring break for us people in education, right? Last week, and on Monday as well. You have a big family of five.
We do.
Easter traditions.
5 children, so family of 7.
Family of 7. No pets?
We got 2 pets. Well, 4 pets, actually.
Well, there we go. All right. So a big family. Easter traditions, like are the Easter eggs still a thing in your
we
house?
actually have, so my kids now range from 12 to 22. And we had our 12-year-old, 14-year-old, and 22-year-old with us. Our oldest is a son with his girlfriend. And then we have 2 little baby, a niece and nephew. So they're 2 and like 5 months. So actually we, circle back to the Easter egg hunting, which was really fun. So my older kids actually, we, hid the giant golden eggs with a little bit of money. So that was fun.
How much is a little bit of money? Because in my
like
day,
$1.
$1. Okay,
$1,
good.
$5 was max.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember in my day, the big deal was the 50-cent piece.
Oh,
right?
That's fun.
That was in the big egg, and you get yourself a 50-cent piece if you're lucky enough to find it. But maximum of 5, you said?
So we did 5 2 $1 bills and $3 in quarters because that's what we had around.
You found the quarters maybe in the van or something,
exactly.
right? Like,
Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about lots of stuff for the next hour. Let's kind of growing up in Fresno. I know you're a Hoover grad. You just talk about where you grew up and where you went to school and sports stuff.
Yeah, so I started playing soccer when I was about 9 years old at Robinson Elementary. So they actually didn't have a girls team at the time, so I went and played at McCardle. So, even that was like, wasn't huge instead of playing with the boys. So, went to Ahwahnee, played, also at that time it wasn't a school sport, just kind of the rec. Hugs was our Hoover United Girls Soccer was our little tag. So even some of those gals I've seen recently, all of our kids end up being, similar ages and play soccer. So I've seen them around town, but then ended up at Clovis West for 1 year just because my parents moved, and then made my way back to Hoover and played at Hoover. So, yeah.
I remember those days, right? Taking my daughters to go play soccer. Like, was it a Saturday soccer league? So you mentioned, right, playing at McCardle. Rec league. Yeah,
in the fog, all winter, all the family would bundle up, and so
get there early.
Yep.
7:30 a.m. I remember those fun days. Like, when did you really fall in love with the sport, or maybe realize,
right away.
I'm pretty good at this stuff?
Yeah, right away. I mean, I was pretty fast, and I just was feisty and, just run around and, even, in elementary, they want you to play all the sports. So I played whatever was next, on the rotation. And soccer wasn't one of the school sports. So I played volleyball and I played softball and basketball, but those all kind of over the years. By middle school, I was just playing mostly soccer. So, yeah.
And then you said Clovis West and then Hoover. How was your experience playing there at Hoover?
Yeah, wonderful, because I'd grown up, with all those girls and played under Tom Metry and Tinker. So just a family, very family, orientated. And my dad was on the school board at the time. So, parents were always around. And, yeah, it's just part of it. And I was also a cheerleader at Hoover, so I kind of balanced both of those. And sometimes some years I would just do one, some years I just do the other. But, yeah, so.
Did you dislike Bullard back in those days? I don't want to start anything on air here, but if you go to Hoover.
Definitely was Battle of Barstow, which we were just talking about. So that was like fond memories, and, just even the high school football games, and, just Fresno is a really special place, and had a great, great high school experience.
Do you have a Letterman's jacket?
I did not get a Letterman's jacket.
Get one.
No, not as many people got them. I feel like my kids did now, in the last number of years. Not quite as many girls got them. I don't know. I probably know one or.
Graduating from Hoover, where'd you go to college after that?
So I was saying earlier, we were having a chat of just, I didn't even know about Fresno Pacific. I think I would have been interested in Fresno Pacific had I known about it. My mom taught at Fresno State, so that was kind of a natural, path. But I had looked at Biola because they had a women's soccer team, did a trip there. No scholarships or anything really offered. It ended up going to Fresno State for 2 years and doing my GE and all that, and didn't play much at all. And then I met a gal in our college group who was a runner for Fresno Pacific, actually a couple gals on the track team. And I'm like, where is that? What is that? And so I remember driving down Chestnut, before all those freeways were developed, driving down Chestnut forever.
Like wondering where the school is? Like,
this little
is it really out here?
School down at Chestnut and Butler, and just became more, familiar with it. And then my husband, actually, we were dating at the time, but he went there, transferred to FPU as a sophomore, but lived at home. So he wasn't even living on campus. And then I decided to transfer there my junior year, and he had made friends with a couple of gals who, in his classes, who also had played soccer in high school, but there was no team at FPU. And so he wanted me to meet them and said, you had to meet my girlfriend. She plays soccer. So I decided to transfer there for liberal studies. They're known as a great liberal studies school. I'm like, if I'm going to, be a teacher, I want to go to the best place. And I love small. I love the community aspect. Fresno State was fine, but it's just massive, comparatively. So made that transfer, and I was standing in the summer in the main, administration building, and met Jaime Ramirez, the coach of the men's team at the time, who, obviously knew those students and, was interested in helping them, maybe make a women's team. And so I lived on campus. My husband ended up living on campus that year, and we just dove into community, and it had to be a club, an on-campus club. It was actually called the Sunbird Football Club. And it had to be open to men and women because it was
for us people in the United States of America, in Western society. Yeah. Yes, right. That probably might have thrown a few people off.
Yeah. So it actually had to be open because it was a campus club to men and women, even though only girls showed up, because the intention was, to do the track of becoming a collegiate sport. So, we had started practicing, and we're all excited, and we're in the gym, we're doing all these things. And then it was time to pick officers for the club. And I'm like, well, I'll go get the paperwork. And, I'm kind of a doer. And so I did. And one of the gals is like, she should be the president and I'll be vice president. So then I end up, brand new girl, the president of the Sunbird Football Club. And it took off, from there. And we just asked girls if they wanted to come, play with us. And one of the teachers, the staff was really supportive, which was so kind and so sweet. Sponsored our uniforms, and we just took off. Jaime got us games because he's connected obviously with the men's team all these years, and he was a student at FBU or at college at the time. And so we got games with just all kinds of schools, and just started going to tournaments, and we just had the best time.
So what do you remember though about like literally starting it, or even the first practice? Like, how did you even get the word out? Did you have flyers or right? Or
I don't necessarily remember those deals.
I
I imagine those details. I imagine we had a flyer, but I remember walking to the student government office and getting the paperwork to apply to be a club. So like school started and then just word of mouth, just even, asking your roommate, do you want to come play? Asking this girl and that girl, and like, oh, I think she played in high school. We should see if she wants to come. So, it was just because it was, obviously not like a recruiting situation like we think of with sports where you're trying to get the best, whatever. We were just excited to have fun and bring anybody who was interested. So it quickly became like a really fun, place to be.
So we're talking 1998.
1998 fall. Yep.
Fall of 98. Do you remember road trips or getting in the van on traveling? Do you have any memory of that?
That's funny because I don't remember how we got anywhere, but I do remember us at the pier at, places like Monterey and things like that. And, games Jaime had arranged for us and making little trips out of it and, doing that kind of stuff. So we have pictures of, those trips and, yeah, just so fun. There was probably, 11 on a side for soccer. There was probably 16 girls, maybe. It wasn't huge, but we had enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you remember how many other girls were off campus at that time that still played? So like
lived off campus?
That lived off, or because it's a club, so anybody
Right.
could have played.
Yeah, initially it was just on campus, I feel like. It's just kind of girls who, we all were kind of grabbing our friends and stuff. So, and then I would say by the third year, it was a little bit more of like, maybe some high schoolers who were about to graduate would want to come check it out. And, as we got closer to it being a collegiate sport, we had a few more or maybe girls that went to Fresno State that, weren't playing there so, yeah.
Do you remember any of the games specifically? Like, did you guys have any big wins or tight wins, or is there like?
I remember the game I remember the most is our first year as a collegiate sport. So we're brand new. We're basically just this group of girls. Even after the 3 years, where it's like we had a couple girls with great talent, and mostly us who were just like, this is so fun. We should do this. More of a hobby. And we were playing Biola, who was so good, and they had these twins who were just unreal. And I think we were losing 7-0 or 8. I mean, it was just that's how the first, collegiate season went for the most part. And so we had Jaime, and then we had Eric Farfan, who was our assistant, who was great and really just helped, the program grow, who became, the women's head coach after Jaime. Mm-hmm. And I was a defender. Again, probably not a ton of skill, but a lot of grit and fast and, kind of determined. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay, Erin, you're going to be on that sister who keeps scoring all the goals. It was halftime, and I'm like,
your job is to stop her.
Your job is
she probably scored 5 goals.
Yeah. Don't let her score any more. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I remember asking them after the team huddle and all this, like, are you sure? Like, you've really thought this through, They're like, yep, that's what you're going to do. And I did, and she didn't score anymore. And I felt like it was almost one of those moments where they knew me and they knew what I could do, and they had a job for me, and it was just almost that being known in a small community and, saying this, you're going to be good at that. So go do that, and encourage me. Like, it's going to be great. We believe in you. So, yeah. So she didn't score any more goals at half.
Awesome. That is a victory.
That's my favorite.
You maybe didn't win the game, but you won the small victory.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So.
Awesome. What do you remember about like what the field looked like, the soccer field? Because just a few years after I graduated, again, 94 guys, is like 98, 99, right? Mm-hmm. Do you even remember like what the fields are like? No tennis courts, no baseball diamond wasn't there.
Yeah,
what did that look like over there?
So where the baseball diamond is now was our soccer field. And there was huge trees that have been there, so long, that had this huge bank of shade with little, wooden, metal stands, real basic.
I'm surprised you had stands.
Yeah, well, the kind they just tractor them in.
The men were playing.
Well, and the men were already playing for all
Okay.
the years. So, but nothing else, beside that. And, yeah, it was simple.
Well, do you remember when it went from a club sport to a full-fledged NAIA program? Like
yeah.
A few years, like 2000, 2001? Would you?
Yeah, so
remember about
01 was the first fall. So 98, fall 99, 2000. So 3 years, I believe it has to be a club before it can transition to apply and do all that. So I had been working for the program, even though I had transferred out of school at FPU. I was able to still play, and ended up doing like administrative work for Jaime, and was back going to Fresno State. I'd gotten married, and we were kind of moving on with our lives, but also I just loved it so much that I was a part of it. And the day before school started of that first collegiate season, I had figured out we had taken a semester off of school right after we got married. We got married in August. And so it dawned on me that I think I have 1 semester left of eligibility after all this time. And so I went to Jaime. We called Jaime and Laura Beth, his wife, and said, can we come over? Because we would remained really good friends, obviously. And they're like, yeah. So it's Sunday night before Monday classes, and Fresno State and Fresno Pacific start on the same day. So I'm supposed to be going to Fresno State, a senior there, taking like 18 units. And I said, I think I have a semester left. Can I play? Jaime's like, well, of course. Yes, you can play. But you have to take 12 units at Fresno Pacific. I was like, oh, gosh. So I had to take 12 units at FPU. I was taking 18 at State, married, and got to play. It was like my one chance to play in college. And, it's kind of insane, but it totally worked out. So
12 units at FPU, 18 at Fresno State,
Yeah.
and married and playing soccer
Yep.
at the college level.
Yep.
How did you survive those days? Like, you look back like,
Well, my
you just
husband is
do it,
teaching
right?
school in Chowchilla and coaching swimming, so he was kind of going a different direction. So we lived right by Sunnyside High School, so it was close, at least. Just did it, and I was co-president of the graphic design club at Fresno State at the time, because that was my major. So got to cover all the bases.
You have to, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's a finite amount of time, right? Like the season's August to early November, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you just hunker down and you just do it.
Yeah.
You put your right. You put your mind to it. We're going to get into all the wonderful stuff in segment number 2 that you're doing in the local community right now. How about your time at Fresno Pacific? Obviously you're back with the university. Just why is it a special place? And your fond memories of the place, and obviously starting the women's soccer program, but what do you just love about the community back then? What are some fond memories, and how they equip people to go out there in the world today?
Yeah, I just feel like one of the unique things about Fresno Pacific, and even where it's located in Central Valley, is just a special place where because it's small, the faculty and the staff can really pour into the students and get to know them on a very personal and very, just special level that's different in bigger, environments, no matter where you are. And that's something I've always loved. And so finding that, getting connected right away, also with a group, helps, right? So right away I was connected with the women's soccer program and the club and Jaime and, my other teachers. I still just have, I went there for 1 year and then that other little semester. But if I think of college, that's my heart, is that community, and even ongoing, like the MCC sales this coming weekend, the relief sale, like we go to that. So being involved there is not hard for me, because just being on the campus is, it's just, I love it
like
so
home.
much. It does. And I remember my tour, like as do I want to go here? Do I not want to go here? And walking around the campus, and it just feels, maybe that's just because it's centered on Christ and the foundation of just the whole person, right? Not just academic, not just sports, but their, emotional, mental health and their spiritual health, and how all of those make us who we are. I just love, and I love being a part of, and it's one of the reasons that drew me back after all these years, to even being involved in a small way now with the women's program. So.
What are some of your favorite places on campus? When you walk around campus, you're like, oh, I love this part. There's great places to study, and I remember the old library as well, and the cafeteria. I am a little jealous of the newest.
It's a lot bigger and better.
A lot bigger and
Very
better.
different
There
than
you
our
go.
little.
You said it.
Tiny little one. Yeah.
Even driving into the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right? Like all these memories flood back.
Yeah.
Is there like a fun, special place that you
I
remember
definitely,
on campus?
whenever I'm on campus and I'm walking from where the current bookstore, is, which used to be our cafeteria,
Yep.
up the walkway towards the fountain in McDonald Hall, it's like I almost can't help but take a picture there or just pause whenever I'm there. It's shaded, it's beautiful, it just has this, special feeling. And then the Strasburg Quad, because I lived in Strasbourg, and then when my husband worked there as an RD and we had our first 3 kids, we lived under Strasbourg in that little bitty apartment. And so just Strauss Quad. And then my husband lived in Schlichting, so just all that, right there, I just love so much. And Smile. So the breezeway that goes from Strasbourg Quad through to the library, that was where the student government office was, that I went and got the application for the soccer club.
And just past the fountain there, that's where you met Jaime Ramirez, right? And had that talk?
Right in by the financial aid window.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Final question before we hit a break. Yes, MCC sale. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Hopefully the weather, right?
They tend to make a lot of money when it rains. So also, bring it.
Bring it.
We'll see.
Your favorite food to eat there. I mean, free advertising for Fresno Pacific University MCC sale.
Absolutely.
I got mine. What's yours?
Yes. I mean, Sweetbach. I don't know how you can go wrong.
Can't.
Warm, hot, fresh Sweetbach with butter and jelly. Done.
So you double dip the butter and jelly.
Oh, yes.
You have to have both.
You got to go both. Yeah.
How about the German sausage plate, right? German sausage and the.
I kind of love the
Veronica
borscht.
Plate. The soup.
I kind of love that too. So.
Yeah, that's good.
The fritters. Can't go wrong with a fritter.
You got to get the fritters to go, right? Get 3 or 4 of those bad boys, and then take it to go as you're leaving the place. Sometimes, if you hang around long enough, I've been known to do this. They give you a little bit of discount.
Okay.
Right? Go stay to the very end. Like, all right, fritters or whatever, 4 for $2, and then you load up and then go home.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you can't go wrong with the homemade ice cream, which I don't know if they always have.
That's kind of a newish thing.
It's gone
the ice
away.
creams.
I don't know, but they make it right there in that old crank with the wheel and the belt.
The old Mennonites are there cranking it out.
So, it's such a great event.
Good stuff. Yeah, can't wait. I'll be there. All right, we'll take a break. We'll hear more from Erin Obwald about what she's currently doing. A woman after my own heart with education and keeping kids safe and all this great stuff. You're going to hear more on the Sunbirds Sports Show on 790 ESPN.
For 25 years, baseball in downtown Fresno has been about more than the game. It's about time together. Make together your tradition with a Fresno Grizzlies 2026 season membership. Flexible ticket exchange means you're always at the game you want with the people you love. Don't miss out. Visit GrizzliesTogether.com. Fresno Grizzlies baseball together happens here.
The one thing I love about spring is it's time for the new golf clubs. They're here. Are you ready to upgrade your golf game? The new clubs have arrived at Roger Dunn, and they're game changers. Check out the new Quantum from Callaway, or the QI4D from TaylorMade, plus the latest release from Ping, Titleist, and Cobra Golf. Come in, get professionally fit, and find out which clubs are built for you and your swing. The good weather's coming, and remember, you're always number one at Roger Dunn.
Welcome to Banyan Tree, Fresno's favorite dispensary. Voted 2025's Best of Central California's People's Choice Award. Need some healing and relaxation? From flower to edibles, concentrate to vapes, we've got top shelf products at down-to-earth prices. Whether you're a seasoned smoker or just kinda curious, our knowledgeable staff will help you find your perfect match. So climb the Banyan Tree and see how high you can get today. Order ahead at banyantreefresno.com for quick and easy pickup. Banyan Tree, rooted in quality, grown in Fresno.
Clausen Honda of Fresno says this tax season, put your refund to work. Your tax return could be the perfect down payment on a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our premium pre-owned selection of favorites, like the Civic, Accord, or CRV. Clausen Honda's team has served the Central Valley for 50 years. Their finance experts will help you find a payment that fits your budget, so you can drive away with confidence. Turn your tax refund into your next ride. Visit Clausen Honda of Fresno, on Blackstone, north of Bullard, or online at clausenhonda.com.
From the roar of Valley Children's Stadium to the heart of the Red Wave, Fresno State football ignites the Valley, and Precision Civil Engineering is proud to help power that momentum. Named 2024's best engineering firm by the Business Journal, Precision Civil Engineering delivers top-tier planning, surveying, and design building, the backbone of the Central Valley. Proud partners of Fresno State Athletics, because when the dogs rise, the Valley rises. Go Dogs! Visit precisioneng.net today.
Hungry for a deal? Toledo's Mexican Restaurant has you covered. From 10 to 2, Monday through Friday, your lunch plans are officially solved with Toledo's $16.99 lunch special. Pick your favorite fountain drink, plus your choice of soup or salad, and pair it with one of Toledo's popular traditional favorites, your choice of enchiladas, tostadas, or burrito. Just $16.99, Monday through Friday from 10 to 2. With 3 locations to serve you in Clovis and Fresno, Toledo's is the perfect place to erase your midday craving. Online at Toledo'sMexicanRestaurant.com.
And there it goes again. Yeah, our AC just tapped out.
I'm still traumatized from last summer. We were basically living in a toaster.
Yeah, we had every fan in the house on full blast. Still felt like 85 degrees. And that electric bill, I'm still recovering.
Not doing that again. Maria had her spring tune-up. Lee's Air cleaned her system, checked everything, and now it cools faster and uses less energy.
Yeah, she said it was only $99.
Plus, they gave her a 2-hour booking window. No waiting all day.
We're calling Lee's before summer turns this place into a sauna again.
Prep your home for a hot Central Valley summer with a $99 AC tune-up from Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. Call 559-785-1212 or book at leesair.com.
CO number 635355.
AC Heat and Plumbing, you just call Lee's. It's easy as calling Lee's. Lee's AC, Lee's AC, Plumbing and Heat, yeah. Lee's AC.
Now, welcome back to the Sunbird Sports Show with Paul Meadors on 790 ESPN.
All right. Welcome to the final segment of the Sunbird Sports Show on 790 ESPN. I'm your host, Paul Meadors, live here at the 1430 790 ESPN studio on Palm Avenue across from Bullard High School. And we've had a great conversation so far. We love talking to alum of Fresno Pacific University and all the great accomplishments that they had at that university or college back in the day. And what they're currently doing today. And Erin Obwald is on the show right now. We just talked about how she was able to jumpstart. Is that a good phrase? Jumpstart the women's soccer program?
Inaugurate. I don't know. Is that a good word?
Yeah, right. All that works. And now they're a thriving program. We love talking to the women's soccer players from Fresno Pacific University. And a lot of it is thanks to Erin and her work with the program, starting it out as a club and now obviously moving on to Division II. We're going to talk about her current position now, her current roles, what she's doing in Fresno Unified, life after college. I know you're busy doing so many things. My gosh, I thought my life was busy. You were telling me about all the things that you do and running around with your family as well. Let's talk about your current role, though, right now. You've returned to Fresno Pacific University, more of an administrative role, but you're diving in again with the soccer program. So what are you currently doing with the soccer program, and why did you return?
Yeah, so I returned. This is my second school year back, and after Jaime started the program, it's had several different head women's coaches, but then he was going to transition to a role 2 years ago as director of the men's and the women's. And so I thought, what a great time, because I've always wanted to circle back, but it was like, when is it right for our family? When is it right for, what I'm doing? And he is my connection, right? He's the relationship that I have that I cherish, and our families are very close. And so if I could come back and, kind of assist that again, then that's what I was interested in. So now currently he's actually the women's head coach again. The director role is no longer, but so just assisting. There I don't have all the soccer licenses and all these things. I've been raising kids and running a nonprofit, but my hope in being there is to really college is short. It's 4 or 5 years. Is how are we going to help these young women develop as, like I mentioned before, the whole person? So when they leave Fresno Pacific, how are they going to invest in their families, in their community? And so really pouring into them almost to like the mental, emotional, spiritual encouragement. A lot of them are away from home. So my kids are their ages, now, my older ones. So just wanting to be a support, not only to Jaime in the program, but also to the young women.
So the administrative role is like, are you on the field sometimes coaching and doing the social emotional help with them. You're doing stuff on the computer. What does that look like?
So some practices I'm not at all of them, but just paying attention to them, and how they're responding. Are they stressed? Is there other stuff going on that's, getting in their way of being able to concentrate at practice? Do they have, health related stuff? Any of those, kind of like mommy tasks. Like one thing I would say when we first started, back is, because I have 3 girls and two boys in my family. So a lot of times I say, okay, girls, and we'll do whatever, right? So I was saying that to the team because I also coached, girls soccer from like under 8s to, about under 19s. But I'm like, oh, sorry, I should say ladies. And they're like, no, we love it. Say girls. We love it. It sounds like our mom's here, So just sweet being able to have just a really, hopefully just healthy and, kind of a mentoring, relationship and being for them and there in those ways. So
I feel like that part of college coaching and having somebody that is available is a huge thing these days, right? Like it's, it's imperative that any college athlete, right, be able to balance life, sports, academics. Like what are some great
social
needs?
pressures.
Yes, all of that. Social media. It's a different age
It
from
is
when
very
you and I
different.
went to college. But
Yeah.
what are some immediate things that come to your mind when you think about really what college students, especially athletes, kind of need as far as the social, emotional, spiritual help?
Yeah, I think even just looking beyond that day or that semester of is how you have your schedule and your priorities and all of that. Is that what you want for your life, right? And what are you allowing to kind of tell you what you should be doing in your life, right? Is it hopefully a coach is a positive influence, and they're not always, and that's something I'm completely against. Is that coaches that almost are like using the kids to have successes of their own and don't treat them very well. And so having a place where they're respected as people just because they're alive, maybe their skill is, needs improvement or they're at the top of their game, but that doesn't really matter when it comes to them just growing as healthy people. So yeah, really, again, paying attention to all those things. And when I started back with Jaime, I was the only female on the coaching staff. And so really felt that was an important piece for the women's program because a lot of the coaches are men, in most sports. So,
and I think that's one of the great things about Fresno Pacific University, and we've talked time and time again, countless times on this show about how Fresno Pacific really is invested in the whole student. You've even used that phrase a couple times today, and it's one of the great aspects of a Christian university, the small campus that we've also talked about as well, the community mindedness. It's one of the great things about FPU is just how invested the professors are in the whole community.
And how people stay in contact after they leave. And they want to come back and they want to be in contact with the professors, with the staff, is really special because they've made that investment over whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 years, that a student's gone there. It's more than that. So.
And you right now are invested in the young people of Fresno Unified as well. So let's talk about your program, Safe to School. Just a wonderful program. I was able to listen to another podcast, how you explained everything. It's just, as an educator, right, just it's close to my heart as well. Just talk about your program. It's probably something a lot of people don't even think about out there or realize that it could be an issue, but you've helped solve a big need in Fresno Unified. Just kind of talk about your program and what that looks like.
Yeah, so Safe to School was actually started by my father, Michael O'Hare, in 2010. The Crossing Guard program has always been volunteers in Fresno Unified, started about 40 years ago. And so it was going to kind of disappear. So he ended up starting Safe to School in his 60s to continue that program. So about 9 school years ago, I started with him. And I love Fresno Unified. I grew up in Fresno Unified. My dad was on the school board. I'm very, I'm used to being at school board meetings even or PTA meetings and, different places around town. Both my parents are very involved in nonprofits. And I grew up in a lot of that. I'm an only child, so I was at those meetings with them when they were doing that. So it was a natural fit in that way. But really meeting the needs of safety because we do have phones in our hands, which we didn't while we're driving when I was, growing up, and, different safety concerns. Trafficking is a huge issue in the Central Valley. And so, we exist to ensure every student gets to school safely and gets home safely. So the distance between their home and their school is really what we pay attention to. And whatever it is that could get in the way of that is what we, want to come alongside the district and come alongside those schools to help them with. They are worrying about, curriculum and the social emotional health of the children inside the school and inside the school fences. And so we want to help just alleviate some of that for them on just the children even getting to school.
So you're talking children that are walking to school, the different crosswalks that are there, parents dropping kids off at a certain spot and ensuring that they're able to get to the school safely. Just kind of walk us through what exactly that looks like. Is it painting the roads, getting the crossing guards? You have a huge spreadsheet with the different schools. I mean, what does that look like?
So we serve every elementary school in Fresno Unified, which is about 67 elementary schools. And then we also started with Parlier Unified this school year and serve all of their schools in their district, which is 6 from kindergarten to high school. So we help the schools recruit in their communities. It's very important to us that the community actually is supporting the children in their neighborhood. So it doesn't make sense for me to drive across town to be a crossing guard at a school that I don't even know anybody at, right? So we want to help that community raise up volunteers and really lead in that way and step out and say, I'll help. Like, I will fill that need. Not only that my child gets to school safely, but also my neighbor's child and the other child down the street, right? So specifically children who are walking by themselves or just with their siblings, which is a lot of kids. So we recruit and train volunteer crossing guards to be out there. We provide the safety gear, ongoing safety education, and a variety of other areas that we partner with other local agencies. For instance, Central Valley Justice Coalition. We want to bring their education to our crossing guards and to those communities to create, and build safer communities. So we work with the city on infrastructure needs related to crosswalks or signage or light outside the school fence that's going to prevent a child from getting to school safely. Stray dogs are a huge problem, so any of those things is what we're about, and want to involve the community in helping us make that happen.
Yeah, so I'm picturing in my mind, right, and probably many people listening right now is, the older generation with their fluorescent vest on with the stop sign and helping kids. Is that basically what you see
people
too?
Showing up when they're available, right? Again, it's a volunteer program, so we're not going to make your schedule for you. You're going to let us know when you're available, and if you're interested, there is always availability. So so don't think it's all covered. And they show up, before school, 15 minutes before breakfast, and they do that crossing about 7:15 in the morning till 8:05. And sometimes we have community members and neighbors who see kids jumping out of the way, in the morning, and they come to the school and say, I will help. I want to volunteer because I see what's happening. We also started a couple years ago a high school partnership program. So getting high schoolers involved in the elementary schools that are, so like, for example, Sunnyside's beside Air Elementary. Well, a lot of times a family's going to bring multiple kids, right, to one location, but the Sunnyside students then taking that on as serving the Air community. And the kids love it. The high school students love it. The elementary school kids love it. The parents, have that where they can't always meet all those time needs or all those days. So we have about 3 or 4 high schools involved. So we're having, again, high schoolers serve and look out for someone besides themselves and be involved in the community.
What are some great feedback that you've got from principals or maybe even from the community itself?
There's one school in particular that I would go to quite a bit because, again, we serve every school. So whether or not we have an active crossing guard, we're still helping them with gear or problem solving or anything, with their school that would help, even if there's not an active person. And so it was a school that I'd gone to several times, and we couldn't get anyone to volunteer or whatever. And the office manager, who'd been there since it opened, so she'd been there like 25 years at this one school in Fresno Unified, she said, thank you for loving my school. I was like, that's it. That is what we're doing. We are loving every single school in their community so their children aren't hit by cars. I mean, it is like tragic and the possibility of that happening is every single day. So it's really imperative that people help and step up.
The work that you are doing is it's something that I think a lot of people don't think about, like I said, but it's super important, right? The number one thing for schools, which is safety.
Yeah.
Number one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the things I always say is, if they can't get to school safety, they can't learn. So it doesn't really matter if you spend a lot of time on your math curriculum if the children are being hit by cars on the way. So let's take care of that. Let's get them there. Then we can do the, fine tune the curriculum.
I agree.
Yeah.
We only got a couple minutes with you, Erin. I want to give you a little bit of time to talk about the balance that you have in your own life, the role that you've now taken on at Fresno Pacific, your Safe to School that you're just talking about, and then your family, you adopted two little ones from China as well. Just life. I mean, life at this moment, isn't it grand?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't say balance is the right word. It's more like juggle. Juggle and, try to, I literally just try to do the next thing that I feel like God's telling me to do. And, some weeks it's more of one and less of another. And, our younger two kids at home now are the two that are adopted from China, who are 12 and 14. And so, we adopted them at 1 and 4. So that's, been a long time. And our other kids are college or beyond. So it's a fun time. It's exciting. And, I think it's easy sometimes to lose the focus because, everybody always wants more from us. But, staying grounded in, our faith and the next task and the next thing.
You're doing phenomenal work. I do have one last question. How are your soccer skills right now? If you're able to kick the soccer ball around, you're shaking your head a little bit.
I did kick the soccer ball around yesterday with one of our gals who's coming off an injury, and I just love it. So I'm definitely not as fast as I used to be, for sure. But I love being out there.
But you did stop. You could go back in the Wayback Machine because you did stop that girl from Biola who scored like 5 or 6 goals in the first half. You did shut her out in the second half.
Yeah.
So you can always just fall back on that.
I'm still a pretty good defender. I probably can't run as far.
But you still got that gritty toughness.
Oh,
I would assume that.
That is still there.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Erin. I really appreciate it. We got
much.
some wrap up to do, but hey, great segment. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Maybe I'll see you at the MCC sale this weekend as well.
Seaweed Bog booth.
Let's do it with butter and jelly, of course. All right, what's next for Fresno Pacific University? Well, a rather quiet week coming up for the Sunbird Athletics. Still some exciting home action to check out. Tomorrow, baseball travels up to Atherton for a Pac West doubleheader against Menlo. Meanwhile, at home, men's and women's tennis will take on the Cougars of Azusa Pacific. The women play at 10 a.m. and the men are scheduled for 2 p.m. at the Hawk Tennis Complex. Saturday, track and field. Head down to Claremont for the Pomona Pitzer Invitational, but not before baseball plays another doubleheader against Menlo at Dan Martin Stadium. Again, beautiful stadium. You guys need to check that out. Games are slated to begin at 12 p.m. and 3 o'clock p.m., respectively. Lastly, women's water polo is off to Concordia Irvine for the 2026 WWPA Championships with their first match against Salem scheduled for Friday at 1 o'clock. For more information on those championships and more, visit fpusunbirds.com. Well, that is a wrap for today's show. Again, thank you guys for listening an hour earlier than normal. Next week, we'll be going to our regular time, 6 o'clock to 7. Again, you could go back to all the places that you listen to podcasts to check out this show and more. Again, thank you to Erin for coming on the show. Great job by her. Love hearing her wonderful stories. Thank you guys for listening again. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you soon.
You're listening to the home of the Fresno Pacific Sunbirds, KFPT Clovis 790 ESPN.